What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. For those of you who don't know, my name is Chris Moore, and in today's video we got a bike that I've been wanting to do for a long time. We finally got one in here on the dyno, a 2018 GSXS 1000F. So this is the sister bikes, well we're gonna call it a brother bike, we don't want to call it a sister bike. Anyways, this is a GSXS 1000F. This bike normally has the full fairings. There is also another version of this bike called a GSXS1000, which only has the, I guess you would say, Street Fighter look to it. So these are super cool bikes. This engine was based off the design of a 2005 GSXR 1000. So you get a straight up and down riding position with normal handlebars versus the clip-on handlebars, which would be down here on like a GSXR 1000. And like I said, just much more comfortable riding position. But this bike is no slouch. A lot of street fighters and I guess you would say sport touring bikes, they don't really have the horsepower. They're not super fun to ride. They're comfortable to ride, and man, if you're not looking for something fast, they are great performers. But this bike is an excellent performer no matter what you're after. This thing has got killer power, but they are heavily restricted from the factory. And today we're going to try to fix all that by removing the restriction, flashing the ECU, and getting the most horsepower out of this thing. Now this customer has already installed a M4 full exhaust system, and he just put it on. It's all brand new, hasn't even changed colors yet. And we're gonna be running this thing with the exhaust system, getting it dialed in, getting the air fuel ratio right, and getting the check engine light / FI light turned off on this thing. Let's just see what kind of horsepower this bike makes and see how the air fuel ratio is. Then we're going to remove the restrictions in the ECU and see what we come up with. guys, I want to take a second to show you a little bit about what's going on in the ECU on this bike. So you can see here it says secondary throttle plate opening. So the bike has two sets of butterfly valves in it. One set works on the throttle, so when you give it gas, they open and close. The other set opens and closes based on what's in the ECU. So they open and close based on the computer. Well, this is what it comes with from the factory. So you see here in first gear, with the secondary throttle plates, we go to 6,800 RPMs, and we scroll over to 80% throttle, which is what they're considering wide open. Basically about at 5,600 RPMs, we're only getting 56% of our horsepower. So it's cut back a lot in the secondary throttle plates. Then you can see it goes to 100%. Here, it actually goes there at 7,600, but then at 10,400 RPMs, it cuts back to 84%. Then at 11,200, it cuts back to 72%. So that's in first gear. Well, when we get up into the higher gears, like fifth gear, you can see it starts out at 100, or has 100% at 7,600, but then at 10,000, basically it cuts back again. But look, when I change this over to sixth gear, top high gear, it actually cuts back to 50% throttle when we go 11,200 RPMs all the way down to 50%. So that's a huge deal. They're really restricting the top speed of this thing and holding us back. But once you got that sticker on your ECU, not anymore, boys. We're full power from here on out. So we correct all that, and then we also go in and modify the fuel maps in the IAP, which is the vacuum. So that's the off throttle stuff. So when you're just cruising around, just trying to maintain speed, let's just say you're trying to go 40 miles per hour, 30 miles per hour in the school zone. Well, this is gonna make the bike so much smoother in that area. And then we can also do, of course, the throttle position map and control the fueling at every RPM and every single throttle position. Now we tune cruising around, wide open, every single piece of it, all in this one fuel table. All right, guys, we're almost finished with this thing. We're gonna have the final run coming up here in just a second. All right, guys, here we go. This should be the last pull on our GSXS1000 GSXS. And I think we got this thing dialed in. I'm gonna show you some before and after gains right after this. So I got the before and after differences pulled up. We went from 149 to 156. It doesn't sound like a ton, but look at where and how we gained it. So from the factory, this was our peak horsepower, 149, but out here, where we were able to extend the rev limiter. You can see we went from 156 to 144 where the factory bikes start to fall off. And look at here where they started to close those throttle plates. We went from 126 to 154. That's basically a gain of almost 25 horsepower. Huge, huge differences in that bike in top end, and then in the bottom end we also had huge gains as well from removing those, opening those secondary throttle plates up earlier and correcting the air fuel ratio. You can see from the factory here, or basically not from the factory, but when the bike came in with the exhaust system, just how lean it was running. And now that we've corrected the air fuel ratio, we gained almost 10 horsepower, a good solid 8 horsepower throughout the low and mid range. So that's huge gains that you're gonna notice all the time in everyday riding conditions. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for today's video. Please be sure to subscribe to the channel. We are on the quest for 50,000 subscribers, and we're trying to do it before 2021 gets here. All right, guys, smash the like button if you liked it, if you thought the video was helpful. If you have one of these bikes and want to get your ECU flashed, all you've got to do is go to moremafia.com and see about getting your ECU flash there. We have an ECU flashing page. You'll click on that. It's got all the details you need to do to send your ECU in. If you have one of these bikes, in order to remove the ECU, it is under the gas tank, basically sitting right here. You got to remove the rear seat, remove the front seat, pop the couple little panels off here. There's 2 bolts right here that hold the gas tank down. Lift the gas tank up, and there it is right on top, easy to get to. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. See you next time.